Shalom, shalom. This week's Parshat is Parshat Lecha, and I'd like to take a look at a story and give a slightly different interpretation than the conventional one. So the story is that Avram has to go out because Lot is taken captive, and he goes to fight this war, this battle where there was the 4 kings against the 5 kings, and he's successful. He brings back Lot, he brings back the people, the booty, the everything. And it's after the story that God comes to him and tells Abraham that not to be afraid, because God is going to protect him and he's going to bless him with a lot of reward. Now Abraham's response is, because up to this point already he has abundant wealth. There's nothing he needs that he doesn't have. So he says to God, what good does all this reward do to me when I have no children? I am childless, and the person who's going to inherit me is Eliezer. So God comes to him and says, listen, Avram, go out of your tent, look up to the sky, and see. Now this is the understanding that everybody has, at least everybody I know has come to understand the story, is to go out of your tent, look up at the stars, see if you can count them, and you can't count them. And because they're so numerous, your children will be so numerous, like the stars in the sky, that you can't even count them, and this will be your descendants. So it's just meant here, according to this interpretation, as God's blessing of the massive offspring that's going to come out of Abraham, just like there is a massive amount of stars in the sky. So the reason why I see it differently is when you look at the actual words, let's see what it says, and let me give you my alternate explanation. It says that God said to him, Habit na shamaima, to look to the sky, usvara kochavim tuchal l'sporotam, and count the stars in tuchal, if you are able to count the stars. And he said, Vayomer lo ko yezeracha, so will be your offspring. So I think this to go out and count stars, if you are able to count the stars. So I think this message that God is trying to give Abraham is not about the number of offspring he had, that it'll be so many people coming from him, but what he's trying to say is, just like you right now cannot perceive, because you're so old and it doesn't appear in your vision that you are going to have offspring, just like you cannot possibly see all the stars in your sky because they are beyond your vision. We're not able to see with the naked eye the stars that exist in the sky, but they're there. And what God is saying is, just like you cannot perceive with your vision that you will have offspring, they are there, meaning they are in God's plan. They will happen even though you can't envision it. And he says, Ko yezerecha, so will be your offspring. And why I love this Ko yezerecha so much is because I feel like Ko is a hint to our people, to the Jewish people, because Ko comes to remind us of Ko Kaf He Kislev, which is when Hanukkah is of the miracle of Hanukkah. Things happen that we couldn't perceive. We won the war. We didn't think we were able to win that battle. The oil that lasted for 8 days when it wasn't enough. So God is saying that a hint to us, the Jewish people, is that just because you can't envision something with your eyes, just like you cannot see all the stars in the sky, it's impossible. God has the capability of making anything happen. So specifically now, for us in Israel, when we're still fighting this war over a year later, and we cannot envision how we're going to get our hostages back, how we're going to put an end to this war, how can there ever be achdus and unity? What God is saying is, do your part, do everything in the right, good way, even though you don't think it's possible. Don't put up your hands, don't give up. You have to do everything you can possibly do, because you are a people of Ko, and God, can make that happen. You do your part, I'll do mine. Remember, Ko, it can happen. Don't give up, and don't think that it's not possible. And I think this is God's message for us, and it gives me hope and strength, and I hope it does for the rest of you, and I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom.